Okay, so for many of you who have actually who've gone to the older game jams before, the ones we've done previously, you will know that at the very end, the thing that I always tend to do is like I call a group post-mortem, where essentially we kind of review and like share our experiences for what we made. And since this is kind of like, I think this is our first one doing a board game one. I think it is, yeah. It is our very first one doing a board game. So this is very different from making a digital game. So I'm really interested to hear what you got, your experiences and the kind of like obstacles you guys went through when it came to designing, an actual like a card game or a board game. So to kind of maybe just to kick it off, like Ray and Dennis, so I mean, for the game that you guys were making, what kind of hurdles did you guys, encounter, or like, has this been easier than developing a digital game, or was it harder, or what kind of things did you encounter?
No hurdles, this was easy. No, this was a lot of fun. We kind of had a preconceived idea, and I discussed it with Dennis, and we actually improved on it quite a bit, so it was kind of fun. He did the artwork while I did the cards. It worked out really good. It was just fun.
So
back to basics.
The one thing I noticed was that it was very humorous. You guys had so what made you guys want to, I mean, obviously humor will make anything really more exciting, but like the different, like the naked stuff and all that craziness and
the streaker?
Yeah, the streaking. Like, what made you guys want to even introduce that idea? Entertainment.
Yeah, and run a fast game, laugh, maybe even turn into a possible drinking game. So. Always fun.
Since the game didn't have a lot of visuals, we figured we'd use a little imagination in there.
Yeah.
And drinking helps stats. Drinking helps visuals.
Yes, it does. So I mean, like going back, since it wasn't so much about the visuals, and I mean, one thing that was, that people noticed was that it's a very quick game to play. Like you can go through it extremely fast. How did you guys, like, what was your design process for making sure that a board game would go fast? Because usually they go very slow.
Yes, because I don't like playing Monopoly. Not anymore. Used to. We just wanted a fast game and wanted to sit down and just have something that was head to head. And that was my thing, is I wanted to have a game that you could actually roll at the same time, so everybody was participating at the same time. You weren't waiting on the next person, no delays, just do it. Done.
Very cool, yeah. I mean, what made you guys want to choose the race car theme?
It was easy. It was, you have checkpoints and you have head-to-head. It's competitive and can be fast-paced since it's a race game, and easy to build.
Very nice, cool. Now, I did notice that there were a lot of people who did card games. So like actually, like you guys, I mean, what's your guys' card game? Could you maybe perhaps, like, how did you guys think about designing it? Because, between a board game and a card game, there's still lots of different things you need to think about.
I don't think we were just tossing ideas around and we were stuck with it.
We had a lot of different ideas we were considering and kind of bouncing off of each other, and I think a lot of kind of evolved out of that. Through a lot of kind of thinking about what could work.
Because we went through all the things with having a board game, a card game, a dice game. I mean, we were talking about all kinds of things, but as we started developing the ideas of what the game was going to be about and the features of it, the cards just seemed to start matching it up perfectly. I mean, and then also because of the simplicity of looking at balance and values of the cards and stuff and what the cards were to do, it kind of made it a little bit easier to work on functionality of the game and balance of the game than worrying about, are we going to have a board or something like that. And so leaving it that way, and then also like with how we had the pyramid, we were discussing, having it as a board game, but then one of the things is having it as a pyramid like that, you deal out those objective cards at the top, gives you a different board every single time. And that's one thing I've always found boring about a lot of board games is I hate going and playing Monopoly every single time when where Kentucky and Boardwalk and Park Place is, they're always in the same place every single game. So
yeah. One of them, one of the things that sort of drove it was it is kind of fun building the board, and so there are certain games that let you do that.
There are a lot of good board games to shower but building the board and pieces like that, so this game's kind of one of that thing and we consider it for a card game.
Cool. So, like, how did you guys actually balance out? I mean, as you guys were discussing and walking us through the whole process of the game, it did seem like there could have been a lot of complexities throughout this, different strategies and stuff. But what was your guys', design process for making that work? With the placing cards on top of each phase and blah, blah, blah.
Basically, just play through the game, and whenever we saw a hurdle, we talked about it and worked it out.
Lots of play testing over and over and over again?
A couple times.
Couple times?
Yeah, we wanted to have everyone involved in the game. I mean, like you're mentioning about having everyone involved each turn, that's why we wanted to have the ability for every player to be able to play on every player's turn if they had any of the counter cards and stuff like that.
We also wanted to create a game in which players wouldn't get eliminated and wouldn't just sit around for half the time when we were playing. But they could keep playing the entire time the game was together.
Cool. Nice. David,
Yeah.
like you guys made the other card game. What type of experience did you guys go through?
Yeah, our experience was very similar to theirs, that where we really emphasized a lot of play testing to work out all the issues. I started off by throwing out 9 million ideas, and our other teammates, Kenny and Steve, Scott, I'm sorry, the other S, we're done. Kenny was really about, let's introduce one thing at a time before we overwhelm ourselves. And Scott was really good at saying, we got to stay focused here. You're throwing way too many things
We
in.
have to work out the variables before we have them.
Yeah, I'm kind of a complex gamer where I like to have a rule book that's the size of a dictionary. But Scott's point was extremely valid. I have a hard time getting people to play any of those kind of games because if the rules can't be explained quickly and easily, people don't want to play. So Scott was our reality check machine. He was the person that reined us in, and then Kenny was our analytical person who really kept an eye to make sure the gameplay was balanced, that elements didn't step on other elements to create conflicting scenarios, conflicting conditions. So I thought our team worked really well. We each brought different things to the table that helped balance each other out, and so from that point on, it was just iterative testing until we came up with a solution. And in our presentation, we didn't quite get a chance to explain all of the different strategies that game actually has a lot of hidden strategy to it. And if anybody actually sits down and play it, you'll find out what we mean. But it's I feel really good. I think it is a genuinely solid game that could be put on the market because I think we solved all of the problems or variable conditions that would come up during gameplay.
I mean, we sort of decided, I may have, not really, but my goal coming in here today was to make a game that you could play with a standard deck of cards and little or nothing else. And we kind of, I think, hopefully have cornered the market of 3-player card games because there are very few that translate well. And we mentioned this in the video, but we had a problem where we wanted it to be a code-breaking game, but if you make the code hidden, there's no way to tell whether you're right or not. So we decided, well, let's make the code a variable that we can generate using cards. And then let's also make the code visible so that acquiring the key conditions or unlocking the conditions is what the actual game was. We were stuck because we wanted a code, but we couldn't hide it. So we decided to play with the key instead.
Very cool. Very nice. I do also like the fact that you guys, you all stuck to the theme really well. I mean, you managed, even though your games were so drastically different, you managed to stick to the idea of involving money in some way. Did you guys actually think that having that theme helped you guys develop the games better? Yeah.
I'll be honest, I think we got stuck on it.
Really?
One of the things that, I first brought up is money. There's a lot of money games out there. As soon as I saw the email, the first thing that ran through my head was casino games. I was thinking of every casino game ever. And then once we got here, it was, oh, there's Monopoly, Go for Broke, Solar Quest. Every game out there just about has money involved. So for a while, it was kind of interesting to try to find that idea that seemed a little bit different, where we weren't just cloning a different game.
Yeah, and you guys seem like you achieved that. It was pretty unique in how it played out. Very cool. So actually, Delcina, John, your game seemed very mature. So, did you guys encounter any problems when designing it or making it?
Yeah. more importantly, did your brother teach you those things?
Let's not. The camera's on them, sir. That's a later discussion.
No, just besides the fact that he really wanted to roll the idea of bowling, and I really wanted to roll the idea of the mafia in black market, in the underground drug market. And yeah, so we just kind of combined those two ideas, and yeah, bowler by day, drug dealer by night.
That's right. John, did you want to say anything?
No, man. Well, I mean, it wasn't like adding in Zeke because we mostly based it on Arthur.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty hard to add him in too.
Cool. All right, Devin, how did your guys' game? Did you guys encounter any problems or issues?
I learned a valuable lesson in doing board games versus doing computer games. When you take the mentality of trying to like simulate like an experience, it's really easy to get stuck in trying to simulate that. And I just ended up stuck in that so many times when I was going through the design, trying to make it like flow and play and be fun, but still simulate the experience of doing like a heist. And just kept like painting myself into corner after corner with just, this detail doesn't feel right, like they don't patrol right, how do the cameras work? All those things, like, it's just, the simulation part isn't super fun, and unless it's, you know, a game that's about simulation. So just getting stuck on reality, being like a super critical thing, really just kind of kept me from being able to actually make something good. And eventually I just got to the point where like I just couldn't really get much farther, and then Amanda jumped in and kind of said, well, look, what about trying this? What about trying this?